The type of technology that I spend most of my time working on looks a lot like a wind turbine underwater. And in fact, if you wanted to see exactly how bad my artistry is, I have a stick figure that shows a wind turbine underwater. But I don't need to show that these days because lots of people actually have commercial turbines in the water that are being tested. This is a technology that's really advanced tremendously over the last 5 years. So we've gone from 5 years ago, devices on the drawing board, turbines at kind of the 100 kilowatt scale. And in 5 years, we've gone to megawatt scale, utility scale machines. These have been deployed in various locations around the world. Many of them look a lot like a wind turbine. And one of the reasons the technology has advanced so quickly is because it can borrow very heavily from wind. Within the last 2 years, there's been major acquisitions in this space. So big multinational companies, Siemens, Lockheed, Andritz Hydro, DC&S, big international companies have acquired these small tidal energy developers and are starting to think about how to deploy the technology at larger scale. So literally, the technology is moving out of the garage and into the water. Now, that's not to say that everything looks like a three-bladed wind turbine. This one here looks a bit like one of the old egg beater designs for wind turbines that you might have seen 20 or 30 years ago. That's a technology that's been deployed in the US and is a helical cross-flow variant. So as the technologies, we can borrow a lot from wind, but when we think about what the technology will look like in the water, there's a lot of old ideas that are being tried again, and this is certainly one of them. And the realities in the water are a bit different than the realities of wind, so maybe some of these more novel concepts will have a place in the marine environment. The reason that we're interested in tidal energy is that it tends to be a very concentrated resource, a very intense resource, which is a challenge for all renewables. It's an intermittent resource. The tide ebbs and it floods, but it's predictable. We can tend to tell when that resource is going to be available, and as a result, we can actually schedule power generation in a relatively more straightforward manner.